An invitation to discovery beckons from each shoreline of this land, the most diverse upon our planet. So it looked to Norsemen, who in ships with dragon prows discovered the Vinland of the year 1000. So it looked to Dutchmen who, in weathered galleons, discovered these palisades and founded the settlement of New Amsterdam. They made a purchase, some dollars for an island, and bowled upon their village green. The bowling green remains today, but time has brought a change. Among the myriad changes, one of the most dramatic is our modern way of travel. The airplane gives visitors from overseas and Americans alike a means to answer the invitation to discover America by air.
Now make the next left turn coming up straight in on the concrete, and you may see some other light aircraft parked in that vicinity.
It is our plan now to take you on a most remarkable voyage, a flight on which you'll glide over wonderlands from historic old New England to the islands of Hawaii. Let's begin our voyage where Pilgrim fathers dug deep a hook in shores of freedom. A monument in Provincetown remembers them, beside the foaming sea where lobster pots line up to point to Gay Head and Nantucket. Before whaling days, there was a Boston. It's still a fascinating place for travelers to see. Look there at Faneuil Hall, cradle of liberty. And there see Bunker Hill, where early Americans stood ground and fought for freedom. Nearby, discovered the frigate Constitution, a ship that bravely fought a later war. And here, the Boston Common. You still can stroll beside the trenches dug for the War of Independence. Next, on to Concord. A Minuteman now stands where once embattled farmers stood and fired the shot heard round the world. For them, the poet Walt Whitman spoke. I speak the sign of democracy, by God. I will accept nothing which all cannot have their counterpart of on the same terms. On traveler's wings, we bridge the miles from Concord to Manhattan. Miss Liberty, hostess to the world. Her torch has been a symbol through the years for visitors who seek discovery in this great land. New York City, for many of whose millions, Washington Square contains a private arch of triumph. Here, United Nations meet to talk of problems of the world. Manhattan is itself a world of people, while others, visitors like ourselves, are awed by sky-tall buildings and this world within a world. Beyond the towers dreams Central Park. It hides a castle and a zoo, a shell for music, a palace for art, an emerald on an isle of rock. About New York, Walt Whitman said these words: an island 16 miles long, solid founded, numberless streets, vehicles, Broadway, the women, the shops and shows, city of spires and masts, my city. Niagara, 2 million visitors a year. The earth trembles beneath them at the brink. Not all are honeymooners. Most come to view the wondrous work of nature and then go on to see the sights that western New York State can offer. The Great Lakes wash at the feet of many cities. There's Milwaukee, Detroit, and this one's Cleveland on Ohio's rim. It has a thumbprint, as all cities leave their thumbprints across a nation. Ringed by parks, it has, besides, a lakeside stadium, museums, and a famous symphony. At water's edge, huge ore boats unload their holds. These cargoes men will forge to steel. There's steel in Pittsburgh, too. And where the Allegheny and the Monongahela meet to form the Ohio River, there lies a golden triangle. And just beyond a skyscraper of learning, the University of Pittsburgh. The state of Pennsylvania is not all steel and gold. You can discover quiet Amish country. Here, history still writes with a quill pen. There's also Philadelphia, where William Penn looks down upon his Quaker city. It likewise was the home of good Ben Franklin, and is the site of Independence Hall, wherein is housed the Bell of Liberty. Here, discover a museum that's one of our nation's richest jewels. A little further on, we see an area rich in the beginning of our history, Jamestown, where on the new continent, the first permanent English settlement began. Not far away, discover Yorktown. Here, when the great Cornwallis gave up his sword to Washington, America became a nation. Here, too, were ended many lives when American patriots fell in our great Civil War. Good men were lost in that dread conflict, which gave painful beginning to our modern nation. In Washington, there echoes still Abe Lincoln's solemn pledge that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. It has not perished, nor has liberty, which Thomas Jefferson reminds us is a tree whose roots are nourished with the blood of patriots. Many who have nourished the tree have been memorialized beside the quiet Potomac. Brave soldiers, some are known, some unknown. Further along the Potomac, a goal of tourists for over 4 generations, lies peaceful Mount Vernon, a gentleman's estate, a quiet shrine. It is best described by the man who lived there. No estate in United America is more pleasantly situated than this. And now, gaze down at Williamsburg, a town begun 100 years before George Washington was born. Its Capitol building still seems new. A million visitors a year come to see the 18th century colonial village as it looks restored. But we cannot linger. There's so much more to see. There's Shenandoah, and vistas down the Blue Ridge along its Skyline Trail. And suddenly, when least expected, the great far west of North Carolina. You reach this gunfight on a mountaintop by coming up a sky ride almost a mile long. And down to skim the haze again past the wondrous Great Smokies. Around a bend, in gleaming sunlight, discover Atlanta, gateway city to the south. a lively city full of sports, fine foods, and lovely southern belles. But city sights lose scale for us when matched against wild nature's drama. Behold Stone Mountain. Man, as always, leaves his mark, and on the great high dome has left the flags that signify our 13 colonies. By jet stream now we fly to Gulf Stream, St. Augustine in Florida, where stands the oldest house in the oldest town of all the oldest towns. Here, too, we find the ancient stones of old Castillo de San Marco, Spanish fortress from a vanished time. Nearby, the spot where centuries past, once Ponce de Leon pushed on to seek a magic fountain of eternal youth. And now today, we still go there to seek for youth, and find it too. And much more that glitters in the sun. Richest sand pile in the world, Miami Beach. All along the Gulf, adventure invites the traveler to find more. Along past Tampa Bay, along a curve past old St. Petersburg and Tarpon Springs. On, glide on to hear St. Louis' bell. That's Jackson Square in gracious New Orleans. And right down there is Bourbon Street. For long, these iron balconies have echoed to the sound, the joys, and the sorrows of good marching jazz. In cloistered gardens, discover gourmet meals that no one can forget. Then, down the width of Great Canal Street, that sends up memories of the Mardi Gras, sweet pralines, spicy gumbo. Then at the foot, the riverboats, another charming New Orleans touch. Jazz on the Mississippi riverboats took long to travel to the north. Today on wings, it's merely hours. Down there, discover a gracious mansion protected by the arms of trees. Do not linger. Soar on upriver and leave behind the names of Natchez, of Vicksburg, and of Memphis, each name remembered in some tale or song. Glide beyond Cairo towards St. Louis. Then on, above Mark Twain's own Hannibal, and fast on wings that flash across old Illinois, Abe Lincoln's land. We have a most dramatic goal ahead. Chicago. Art galleries, museums, zoos, nightclubs, and the windy outer drive. These towers are a novel landmark, not far from the quaint Old Town. The Merchandise Mart contributes to Chicago's reputation as Convention City. This is a city of towers, sometimes with a little house and garden on the top. Behind glitters Chicago's famous Gold Coast. Weary for the moment of cities? Then simply rise above them, go west and north, again on wings. Now, how about a world of sweet, fresh mornings and tens of thousands of lakes of Minnesota and Wisconsin? There's muskies, bluegills, bass, and pike. Trails through the forests that lead to deer. A nature lover's paradise for sure. Next, on past sunny Iowa, where fields are rich with corn and wheat. And on we go past Omaha, gateway city to the plains. Nebraska beckoned. Men went west, and still they go, leaving wagon ruts, a road, or a trail in the sky. In this mountain heartland, realm of year-round sports, discover Denver, mile-high jewel in the Rockies' crown. In this range that divides the waters of the continent, all around are national parks with glaciers for frosting and sapphire lakes for prizes. Down there, too, are trees and trails with animals, both wild and tame. In a canyon near Durango, an iron horse still travels through the west. Fantastic West, endless variety, ski slopes and dude ranches, sagebrush and pine trees, canyons, cliffs. The ruins of a sun temple. Mysterious cliff dwellings tucked behind the ledges lining Mesa Verde. The ancient Indians left behind them nothing more than empty shells. But you may discover a Navajo or Hopi village of today, placed in secret in the land of prehistoric gods near Lonely Beauty, Monument Valley. In this jet age, a few short hours could take you down those Indian trails that lead to mighty Texas. Behind Glen Canyon Dam lies more than 100 miles of enchanted lake. This is Lake Powell, until a handful of years ago, one of the most inaccessible areas on the continent. And sparkling blue that lies beneath a Martian landscape. Water lovers there can race their boats and soak up sun. Today, Lake Powell is a favorite discovery for those who like to wander off the beaten track. Behold, great Rainbow Bridge, carved by water, wind, and years. It stands in silence, memorial to a timeless land. But we upon the wing use time to cover space and so reach for another kind of vista. Salt Lake City. Beside the temple spires, there is the Salt Lake Mormon Tabernacle. The acoustics here are world-renowned. So is the famous choir. Wings of discovery now to a most amazing panorama spread by nature, the Grand Canyon of the Colorado. The Grand Canyon is not all a wild abyss. When you're overawed enough, you rest yourself and look again another day. At the far end of the canyon, the lake called Mead. If you're a swimmer or a water skier, here's heaven enough. Discover now Las Vegas, a gleaming world of golf and pools and palaces. The signs begin to flash a message to the moon. For family fun, a place that scarcely needs discovering, it's Disneyland. There are things to do and things to see. There are friends to meet and rides to take and more to see and more to do. Fabulous Disneyland is fun for all. And next, a harbor town. It's San Diego, snug haven for the vessels of our Navy. And then a haven of another sort, a realm of beasts that roam uncaged within the famous zoo. Northward a little along the California coast, glide over quiet ruins, an early mission. Swallows are not the only ones to return again to make their vows at San Juan Capistrano. Now past Newport Beach, where you can bask on warm and sunny sands. Try a swim or try a sail. Between Balboa and Newport Beach are registered 8,000 boats. The cars down there defy all numbering. Los Angeles, television and motion picture capital of the world. It starts one end of El Camino Real, a royal road of Spanish kings. Here, music lovers lately find their way. A splendid gem, the Music Center. This is San Simeon, an uncompleted masterpiece that's home for $50 million worth of art. The treasures ransomed from the corners of the earth. The pool is Grecian and the water warm. The coastline twists and turns in eagerness to lead us to green Monterey. These famous California seals, who know a good thing when they see it, maintain an outpost not too far from Carmel by the sea. Tahoe, a border lake between two states. A California and Nevada tourist target. It draws the sportsman to its beaches and its woods. Beyond there are Reno's casinos, too. Up in Oregon, skiers love Mount Hood, which overlooks the Columbia River Gorge. On one shore, fertile Oregon, the other shore, majestic Washington. There are no salmon like Columbia salmon. Few wilderness areas are its peer. And always mountains. Mount Rainier holds the city of Tacoma at its feet. Nearby, Seattle points aloft its Space Needle and invites all visitors to ride its speedy monorail. Tourists here are eager for the ever-changing beauties of dreamy Puget Sound. There are many diversions in this Northwest. Glide down on wings to Oregon coast and here discover picnic havens, sheltered beaches, and the like. Out there, the boundless ocean, and close by, in bold signature, the rocks. Drink in Ecola Park in Oregon. From here by air in minutes, you can behold the peaceful blue of Crater Lake. Its cold, deep waters cradled in the volcano of the past. And now we move on to that domain where redwood monarchs hold their court. Big trees, tallest, oldest of all the living things on Earth. Some have endured for 40 centuries. Their seedlings sought the sun before there was an Athens, before there was a Rome, and while the pyramids of Egypt still were new. It has been said of California, if here you cannot find the thing you want, it can't exist. But San Francisco is a dream that does. Fisherman's Wharf. Some are here because they love to fish, the others love to eat. Telegraph Hill was once a signal hill for ships. The modern tower performs its work today by luring travelers up to see the sights. San Francisco is unique. It is a world in miniature with specialties all its own. It names its park for sacred Golden Gate. There is a Buddha there, and many more in Chinatown, where Lai Po greets the guests and incense sends the news to heaven. The cable cars are San Francisco's own. No trip's complete until you ride them up the hills and down. Sophisticates and simple folk, we all can love this friendly city. The 7 hills of San Francisco possess a special charm. From here, there's one more discovery to make. Swing wide the Golden Gate. Soar west across the peaceful blue Pacific to reach our fair and 50th state, Hawaii. There's a little bit of all the fun you like. There's Waikiki and other beaches. Sundown suppers aboard a sleek and silent catamaran. And fish for those who like to match their strength with strength. Hop across historic Nuuanupali and discover magic coves and friendly towns. There's Polynesian village life to see. Fine golf and pools and luxury hotels on all the varied isles. The enchanted isles bearing enchanting names. Oahu with its Waikiki, Kauai, Molokai, Maui, and the big island, Hawaii. The scenes that range from sun-baked canyons to rainforests, cool and verdant. Coastlines are a fantasy of blue and green and white. Scenery can be velvet smooth and sweet. Or left over from a past where giant volcanoes reared and roared. Not all volcanoes are asleep. You can today see smoldering craters where the fire goddess Pele lives. Seek what you want, and you will find. The islands are all modern Edens, with crescent beaches of pure gold, or beaches black as ebony, where trade winds send an invitation to a memory. Hawaii is yours, and so, on wings, is all America, all awaiting your discovery. Discover America.